Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the weather forecast here by 8 Weather Forecast. This is going to be another update on the potential for a really big severe weather event that's going to continue out throughout today. We now have tornado watches and a ton of more severe thunderstorm watches and warnings. We also have a huge update on the SPC. This is actually a bit of a shocking, just an easy way to say that. And we also have a lot more updates on the radars. They are all new, updated, and refreshed. And we also have, of course, new updates on the potential for the SCP, supercell composite parameter, and also going to be looking at the chance for seeing those really high K values that could possibly produce very large and strong pop-up storms. But if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, guys. Thank you guys all so much for the support. Also, be sure to share the channel so we can keep as many people as weather aware. If you know anybody in the path of the severe weather and really large squall lines, be sure to share the channel and share the video especially so they get all the new data they need. But without further ado, let's get in this video. So we're going to be starting off with the National Weather Service, so let's go ahead and refresh it just in case. But here we now have, of course, the tornado watches right here in areas for southwestern Missouri, areas into the far southeastern counties of Kansas, much of eastern Oklahoma, and also far northwestern Arkansas. That's including Miami, Oklahoma, Joplin, Tulsa, McAllister, and also far northwestern Arkansas. And we also have ahead of this, we're going to be seeing a huge pop-up squall line that's going to be developing ahead of time. So that's why we had these tornado watches extended for a very long time to tonight. And then we have the severe thunderstorm warnings here and severe thunderstorm watches throughout areas into Missouri and Arkansas, and those widespread watches throughout areas into Kentucky, western Tennessee, far northern Mississippi, and of course Missouri and Arkansas. We have those other areas as well in Missouri and Arkansas. We do have severe thunderstorm warnings with these very large potential squall lines here moving the areas. Let's go ahead and check out that radar really quickly so we can go ahead and take a really quick look here at this radar. Let's go ahead and check this one out right here. But there you see the very strong, very powerful bands in these areas here. So definitely be seeing some very large squall lines in these areas and potentially supercells. As of right now, we don't really have any super large squall lines, anything whatsoever, but we do have some supercells likely producing some rotation as well. But definitely need to be on the lookout. But of course, definitely these are going to be in these are going to be in multiple waves heading toward areas in Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee, and also, of course, Kentucky. So definitely be on the lookout. Definitely be seeing the heavier rain out for St. Louis, seeing those heavier bands of rain entering areas into Illinois, and we have the very strong band as well to near the Jonesboro area. So if you're under severe thunderstorm watch or severe thunderstorm warning, you still need to be on the lookout. And we also have new severe thunderstorm warnings now for northeastern Oklahoma. That's near the Miami area. And this is brand new because we are seeing these bands developing as of right now in these areas as K values to get a little bit higher. That's for Bartsville. As we are seeing these bands now starting to develop a bit more. They are going to start seeing a bit more pop-up bands out here into these areas. So definitely be on the lookout now for Oklahoma is going to be on fire in the next couple of hours here. Now let's go ahead and look at the new SPC outlook. So we don't have a level 4 moderate. Many people do think it could be updated to moderate, but I really don't necessarily think it will. But here we have the new update. We have a huge change. We now have not only did the enhanced risk move, but also did the slight risk as also moved all the way into the Carolinas. But here we have our main area of focus right here. As you can tell, it has extended a lot more into Arkansas, a lot more into Mississippi or Missouri as well, and has now entered the tip of Kansas. So we now have really a new state that has been added, but it has been extended a lot more from Missouri and part to Arkansas. And then here we have a slight risk has been extended all the way to the Carolinas from Texas. So as you see, we do have a very widespread potential for severe weather. Tornado threat has gone up to a 10% significant risk here. We now have an SIG, SIG, or significant risk here. So definitely be seeing the potential for some really a bit of a bigger risk. There's basically a bigger risk and bigger potential for tornadoes now. I really was a little shocked a little bit, or shook. I was shook by seeing this 10% chance, but I don't necessarily fully disagree in it because I think there's definitely a great potential for seeing tornadoes in these areas. That's going to be for areas into northeastern Oklahoma, far southern Missouri and far northwestern Arkansas. So those were the areas of focus were last week, and now we're continuing to see this area of focus into this week. And also that 5% chance is now extended a bit more to Tennessee, and that 2% chance extends all the way from Texas to Tennessee and parts of Kentucky. So very, very widespread threat now. Not only is it affecting the South Central, the Ozark Mountains, but now it's starting to affect the Mississippi Valley and also including areas all the way to Nashville. Of course, hail threat still a very, very, really a big risk as of right now. It continues to look like it is going to be the highest risk and the biggest risk as of right now, but tornado threat's starting to get a bit higher as well. So here we have our 30% chance for hail. We also have that significant risk as well, so very high and potential, very likely for very damaging and strong hail that's going to be out there. Our biggest risk is going to be for Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Missouri throughout those areas in the red color. And then that smaller threat and the 50% chance for the yellow, that's a 50% chance that's going to be extending all the way from the Mississippi Valley and also all the way to the South Central. So that we still have a decent chance for hail. And it's not really the percentage for hail, but also the percentage as well for really if it's going to be damaging hail or not. And then the wind threats also extended a bit more. And that's really the only reason why we've had this slight risk extend a lot more. It's because of that wind threat getting a lot more widespread and becoming, of course, now moving to the east. So we do have that Texas all the way to Carolinas, which is why we have a slight risk. But we're going to be seeing some potential strong bands throughout those areas, so still need to be on the lookout. But definitely looks like the wind threat is still a very big threat, as we're going to be seeing very strong straight line winds, severe weather and non-severe weather related. So we're going to be seeing some strong winds no matter what. But with these really strong squall lines and QLCSs, those can produce 60 plus mile per hour winds, gusts in some areas. So definitely wind threats still a possibility as well. It may not be incredibly high, but it's very likely we're going to be seeing damaging winds. As we now look into the NAM 3KM model, here you see these multiple supercells and really strong cells throughout Missouri. That's going to be throughout areas into where we have mostly those severe thunderstorm warnings. Of course, where the worst of it will be, we have the severe thunderstorm warnings. And this is why we have these tornado watches now extended for eastern Oklahoma. We do have these bands now starting to develop a bit more. Here we have the defined low pressure system. Here you have that Gulf moisture and all the instability and all of that. And this is where we have all the wind shear as well. So we're going to be seeing the area of focus, of course, going to be in front of all the shear. And this will adding up to where we have those very high Cape values there. So then as we get later into now getting closer to the evening where it's really dark, we're going to continue to see these bands move to the east now, all the way from Tennessee, parts of Missouri, Illinois, and also really big threat for northern Missouri. But here we have that very strong potential, really powerful squall lines likely developing out there to parts of Oklahoma, near the Tulsa area and also near the Oklahoma City area. And this is going to be heading straight now for the border with Texas. That's going to be heading towards the Gainesville area, heading towards Paris. And then we still have these strong bands. We cannot forget about these. These are going to be very powerful. And we're going to be seeing those moving to the Tennessee area. This could be quite severe. And then this really band is diminished a little bit before it really impacts Dallas incredibly hard, but Dallas still can get some really heavy rain out of this. Now for the new radar here for the European, we're still going to be seeing these really strong bands throughout Missouri as of right now, and this is where we're seeing that potential development out here for these strong squall lines into northeastern Oklahoma. And here we have it, really strong systems right here into now southwestern Missouri and parts of south central Oklahoma. We still can't forget about these primary bands that we're seeing as of right now. Those are not going to be crossing the Mississippi River, entering Tennessee, entering Mississippi, bringing that threat as well for the Ohio Valley, Evansville, areas near Lexington, Paducah. You guys can get some heavier rain, but that main band right here, that's going to be moving throughout Texas and Oklahoma, that will diminish as it does right before it really gets to the Dallas and Fort Worth area. Dallas, you guys can get really lucky because this thing's going to really start falling apart really right before it gets on your doorstep. But now we're looking at the surface cape here. This is also new information. This is a new model, or not a new model, a new run of the model. So here we have a bit of energy now in the next coming hours. We will start seeing these cape values getting a bit higher as we get overday heating, as we see a bit more humidity, seeing all those ingredients coming in place. So we're going to be seeing, as of in the next couple of hours, we're going to be seeing these numbers not getting those really 3,000s, won't be getting higher than 3,600. Won't be seeing a huge threat of really hazard, but we'll obviously possibly seeing of course, that hail threat and potential for supercells. But of course, tornado threat does maintain low, and of course, we can't really say that hours out, but this is just based on looking at all of this. And now look at this. This is by now tonight in the overnight hours. This amount of Kate, it skyrockets. Now going to get 5,000 plus joules per kilogram. We're definitely seeing a huge tornado risk in Kate, and also the cap is very, very weak. So this is the cap. This won't be capped out. This is definitely going to produce, and it's definitely going to get really, really strong, and definitely going to bring a potential for tornadoes. Obviously, you can't say that really far out. As of course, you can't say that. You can't even say really an hour out, but definitely likely will possibly see this cap break for Oklahoma, and that could definitely not be that could not be good whatsoever. That would be possibly like incredibly large hail, damaging winds, of course, maybe a couple tornadoes throughout Oklahoma there with that very strong squall line that develops, and it's going to go right over these areas. And of course, we have that wind shear. Here we have all the Gulf moisture, all the overday heating. It's perfect ingredients for a perfect area for severe weather. And then the next spot into tomorrow morning, that those Cape values do fall apart and just diminish. So definitely see that threat winding down into tomorrow, and that's when things start to get capped out. So we see these bands diminishing because it's gonna get all capped out, and then this year will just take it down. Now, as we look into the supercell composite parameter, numbers get really high as well into tonight. We're definitely going to be seeing extremely high numbers. So, of course, you can't guarantee a supercell, but this is where you can possibly guarantee one. When you get into the 40s and into these high 30s on the SCP, that's really guaranteeing a supercell development. And it almost seems like we're definitely be seeing a tornado threat. Of course, tornado is going to be one of our hazards or threats. And, of course, you can't predict how strong it'll be until, obviously, you, first of all, get one. And not only that, you have to get a survey, but it's potentially, if we have tornadoes in these areas, which it's likely, we can be seeing very powerful ones. As you can tell, definitely be getting up to EF2 to EF3s, but you can't predict how strong it'll be until you get the survey. And it looks like cap will get a bit stronger, so likely this will, of course, cap out in the next coming hours and more into the morning hours. So this is why if you go in the next 6 hours, it's going to fall apart because it's all going to cap out. And let's go ahead and show you that. As you can tell, it definitely caps out really, really bad and really fast, but we're still going to be seeing that threat possibly for a tornado as we continue on. So we can't rule out that possibility for tornadoes continuing. But I hope you guys did enjoy the video. It's a bit shorter, obviously, because I don't want to make these videos too long. No updates as of right now, but I'm actually going to keep monitoring this, and if we have any huge updates whatsoever on the National Weather Service, especially the SPC, if we somehow get a moderate risk, which I highly doubt, because really we'll have to have that either that hail threat go up or that tornado threat go up. So that's what we're going to be looking for. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please subscribe, and bye, guys.